Welcome to Miami University Regionals completing your 2020-2021 FAFSA presentation. My name is Joey Kuhn, and I am a Financial Aid Counselor for Miami Regionals. I'm going to guide you through the FAFSA so that you can complete it accurately and in a timely manner. Before we begin, you will need to create what is called an FSA ID. This is a username and password that you will use to complete the FAFSA each year that you are in college. To do so, you will go to the website listed on this slide. If you are a dependent student, meaning that you must provide parental information on your application, then one of your parents will also need to create an FSA ID. The website for FAFSA completion is also listed here. Let's begin. For the purpose of this walkthrough, I will begin as if I am a parent completing the FAFSA for my student. What we're going to do here is click that you are the parent and enter the student's demographics. For today, the student I will be using will be named Miles Smith. And once you've put in your basic information, you will hit the Next button. After hitting the Next button, this disclaimer will pop up. This is just stating that you will complete this application to the best of your abilities. What you will do here is hit Accept. If you're planning to begin college this August, you will be completing the 2020-2021 FAFSA application. This screen here is asking you to create a save key. A save key is used to get you into your FAFSA application where you left off, should you need to take a break and come back to it at a later time. Once you get on to the main screen here, this will have some frequently asked questions that may pop up during your FAFSA application. As we go through some of those challenging questions, we will make sure to address them. You'll go ahead and hit Next. Again, your personal information for the student will be listed here on this main screen. Your Social Security number, name, and date of birth will automatically be populated from the screen previously reported on. Here you will enter your email address and your phone number. This screen that pops up next is going to ask you for some more student information. The first thing that you will list here will be your address, then you will hit Next. It's going to ask you if you've lived in the state of Ohio or the state that you're filling this out in for at least 5 years. Miles has. It's also going to ask you if you are a U.S. citizen. There is a drop-down box here you will click on, and the 3 options that you are given is yes, I am a U.S. citizen or U.S. national, no, but I am an eligible non-citizen, or no, I am not a citizen or eligible non-citizen. If you are listing no, but I am an eligible non-citizen, be sure to include your A number. This will be on your green card, and you will be able to utilize that information to determine your eligibility. Miles is a U.S. citizen, so we will hit yes here, and then Next. This screen here will ask you about the student's educational information. The first question is asking, what will your high school completion status be when you begin college in the 2020-2021 school year? We're going to state that Miles will have completed his high school diploma. The next question is what college degree or certificate will you be working on when you begin classes in 2020-2021? Miles will be working on his first bachelor's degree. Will you have your first bachelor's degree before you begin the 2020-2021 school year? For Miles, this answer will be no. And then what will your college grade level be when you begin the 2020-2021 school year? Miles has never attended college before. This is his first year, so we're going to select that on the drop-down here. In the future, as you complete your FAFSA application, you can update that to state that you are a sophomore, junior, or senior as you progress through your degree. The next question is asking if you would be interested in being considered for work study. We highly recommend that all of our students answer yes to this question. This allows an opportunity for a student to be considered for work study, which is on-campus employment and could be beneficial in offsetting some of your expenses throughout your college education. As you hit next, it's going to ask if you're male or female. This is as assigned on your birth certificate. We're going to state that Miles is male. And on here, there's a disclaimer that says that most male citizens and male immigrants must register with the Selective Service System to receive federal student aid. Male citizens between the ages of 18 to 26 need to register with the Selective Service Systems in order to receive the federal financial aid funds. We're going to say here that Miles is not registered with the Selective Service System, but it does give him the opportunity to register through the FAFSA application. This is important for students that are under the age of 18, as you have not registered for selective services yet, but you can do so through the FAFSA application. You'll go ahead and hit next here. It asks for your driver's license number if you have one. If you do not have one, you can skip over this question. Just hit the next arrow. On here, the next question that's asked is, are you a foster youth or were you at any time in the foster care system? For Miles, we're going to say no. Then it's going to ask the highest level of education completed by his parents. So for parent 1, we're going to state high school. For parent 2, we are going to also state high school. But note that if for some reason you are unable to determine what parent 1 or parent 2's education level was, you are able to say other or unknown. Here it's going to ask for your high school information. If you're in a newer high school, you may not be able to use the search feature. However, you can put in your information for your high school. Again, if your high school does not pop up here, that's okay. You can just go ahead and it'll allow you to go to the next screen. But if you do see your high school, you'll go ahead and select them and then hit next. This screen here allows you to add up to 10 colleges to receive your FAFSA information. If you know the federal school code of the school you'd like to send your information to, you can hit the yes button here. If not, you can search by state, and we're going to look for Miami here. We're going to say Hamilton, and then we're going to say Miami University. When you're searching for Miami University, it will pop up that the Oxford location is the one listed here. We are all one university, so that is acceptable. You will hit check, and then you can add more schools if you choose to, but for Miles, we're just going to say that he's set on coming to Miami. Once you get to this screen here, it's going to ask you what your housing plans are. There is a drop-down button here, and it's going to give you 3 options: living on campus, living with your parents, or living off campus. Since the regional locations do not have on-campus housing, you will either be with parent or off campus. For Miles, he's going to be with parent, and then we're going to hit the next button. This is going to ask some dependency questions to determine the student's dependency status. The first question that comes up is, what is your marital status as of today? We're going to state that Miles is single, and then hit next. The next question, do you now have or will you have children who will receive more than half of their support from you between July 1st, 2020 and June 30th, 2021? For Miles, we're going to say no. And does Miles have any dependents other than his children or his spouse who live with him that receive more than half of their support from him from now through June 30th of 2021? We're also going to state no, and then hit next. Additional dependency questions will pop up on the screen. The first that is going to ask, are you currently serving on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces for purposes other than training? Are you a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces? At any time since the age of 13 were both of your parents deceased? Were you in foster care? Or were you a dependent or ward of the court? As determined by a court in your state of legal residence, are you or were you an emancipated minor? Does someone other than your parent or step-parent have legal guardianship of you, as determined by the court in the state of your legal residence? And if none of those apply to you, you're going to want to check the none of the above box. And then hit next. The next question you will see is on or after July 1st of 2019, were you homeless or were you self-supporting and at risk of being homeless? For Miles, we're going to say no to this, and then hit next. Based off of the answers from the previous dependency status questions, Miles is required by federal government guidelines to provide his parental information on the FAFSA. The box here will indicate that he is going to enter their information, but if you have a special circumstance and you're unable to provide your parental information, you are okay to check this box here and then make sure that you reach out to your university for further clarification on what is needed for your FAFSA application to be processed. Once you've clicked your box, go ahead and hit Next. This brings us to the parental portion of your FAFSA application. The first question that we see is, as of today, what is the marital status of your parents? We're going to say that Miles' parents are married or remarried and put in the month and year that they were married or remarried. Keep in mind, if your biological parents have divorced and are remarried, that you will utilize the parent that provides more than half of your support. You will be placing their current marital status on this application, as well as their personal information and their current spouse, if applicable. Here it's going to ask you to put in your parental information. So you'll put in your parents' socials, their last name, and their date of birth. You can also list a parent email address here if you would prefer to, but it's not required. And then it'll ask you to place in the social of your second parent. Again, their last name as it appears on their Social Security card. And their date of birth. And then hit Next. It'll ask if your parents have lived in the state of your legal residence for at least 5 years. For Miles, we'll say yes, and then Next. On here, this is going to ask for parental household information. As you can see, as your parents are married, they are considered two in household. And then Miles is their child, so he is also considered in their household right now. The total number of family members depicted is 3. It gives you an option here to add other children in the home who your parents support more than 50%, or other dependents that may be receiving their support from your parents as well. But for Miles, we're going to say that he's the only child in the household that his parents are supporting. And it's also going to ask for the number of people in college. You do not include your parents here, so we're just going to put 1 for Miles. And then we'll hit Next. This is going to bring us to the parental financial portion of your FAFSA application. For 2018, have your parents completed their IRS income tax return or another tax return? We're going to say yes, that Miles' parents have already completed their tax return and that they filed a 1040. The other options listed here are a foreign tax return or a tax return with Puerto Rico. And then here it's going to ask what their filing status was. Single, head of household, married filing jointly, married filing separately, or qualifying widower. Here we're going to say that Miles' parents have filed their joint return, and that is when the IRS data retrieval tool option will pop up for you. We highly encourage our students and parents to link to the IRS to get that information imported from their database so that it leads to less errors. Because this is a demonstration site, I'm unable to do that, so I will hit next and we will enter the information in manually. This screen will pop up encouraging students and parents to link to the IRS using the IRS data retrieval tool. You will need your FSA ID in order to obtain your information from this website. Again, because this is a demonstration site, I'm unable to do so, so I'm going to hit no thanks, and it will bring me here to enter my information manually. All of this information can be found on your 1040 form, and you'll be able to see what line they're requesting the information from in each question. If you have additional questions above and beyond what's listed in there, you can click on this little button here, and it will bring up some frequently asked questions in regards to that question. So here we're going to put in what Miles' parents made for the year. And hit next. The next questions you will see will be in regards to their wages. It would like you to indicate how much of the adjusted gross income was obtained from parent 1. So we're going to say parent 1 made $28,500, and then parent 2. You can find these numbers off of your W-2s for that tax year, and then you'll hit next. The next question we see says you indicated that your parents filed a 1040. Did your parents file a Schedule 1? With the tax reform, the 1040 form was changed. There used to be 1040 EZs and 1040 As, which were essentially simplified versions of the 1040 form. Now there are a series of schedules that individuals will file when their taxes are completed, and your parents could have potentially filled out a 1040 Schedule 1. You can select no if your parents did not file one. We're going to say I don't know for demonstration purposes. The next question that will pop up is, as of today, is either of your parents a dislocated worker? You can say yes, no, or don't know. We're going to say no, and then it's going to ask, in 2018 or 2019, did your parents or anyone in your parents' household receive any of the following benefits? Medicaid, Supplemental Security Income, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP, free or reduced price lunch, temporary assistance for needy families, which is TANF, special supplemental nutrition programs for women, such as WIC, or none of the above. We'll say none of above for today. And then hit next. Next, we're going to enter the amount of your parents' income taxes for 2018. This can be found on line 13 of your 1040. So you'll take line 13 minus Schedule 2, line 46. If you needed some additional information on that, you can also hit this little button here. For Miles' parents, we're going to say they paid $556 in taxes, and then hit next. A list of questions will pop up here for us to review. Did your parents have any of the following items in 2018? Combat pay, reported student college grants or scholarships to the IRS, education credits, untaxed portion of their IRAs, IRA deductions, or any tax-exempt interest on their 1040 line 2A. Oftentimes, these will all be zeros for parents, so do not be alarmed if you find that none of these apply to you. Then you will go ahead and hit next. Here it will ask if your parents had any child support that they paid for the year of 2018. What they will do is take the amount that they paid monthly, multiply that by 12, and then insert that into this column here. If they have any earnings from work under a cooperative education program, or if they have any taxable earnings from need-based employment programs, they'll list those amounts there as well. If those do not apply, you'll place zeros in those boxes and then hit next. Here you'll indicate if child support was received. You'll take your monthly amount, multiply that by 12, and then input that here. If housing, food, and other living allowances were paid to members of the military or clergy, payments to tax-deferred pensions or retirement or savings plans, veterans non-education benefits, or other untaxed income. Again, if they happen to be 0, place zeros in the box and then hit Next. Here it is asking, as of today, what is your parents' total current balance of cash savings and checking accounts? Here they can do an estimate. It does not have to be exact, so we'll say that Miles' parents have $500. Do your parents currently have any investments that include real estate but not your parents' home? We're going to say no. And if you wanted to know exactly what is considered an asset, you can click on this little button here and it'll let you know some additional forms of investments. It'll also ask what is your net worth of your parents' current business. If your parents do not own a business or an investment farm, you can also list 0 here as well. Again, for further information, you'll just click this little button here and then you'll hit Next. Now it's time for Miles' financial information. So it's going to ask for 2018, did Miles complete an IRS tax return? We're going to say that Miles doesn't work right now, so he's not going to file. Down here, the IRS data retrieval tool option did not pop up because Miles did not file a tax return in 2018, so we'll go ahead and we'll hit Next. This asks how much Miles made from working wages in 2018. We'll say that he made about $500 for the year, and then we'll hit Next. This here also asks the same questions that we saw on the parental portion of the FAFSA application. If child support was paid, earnings from work under cooperative education program, or taxable earnings from a need-based employment program. Again, Miles has none of those, so we'll list 0 and hit Next. If child support was received, housing, food, and other living allowances, payments to tax-deferred pension, veterans non-education benefits, other untaxed income, or money received or paid on his behalf. We're going to say 0 here for all of those and then hit Next. These questions are the same as the parental portion, so as of today, what is Miles' current balance of cash savings and checking accounts? We'll say Miles has about $100, that he has no investments, and that he does not have a business or an investment farm. And then we'll hit Next. This here is asking if you are having somebody prepare this FAFSA application for you. Typically, as a student or parent, this would be no, and then you'll hit Next. This is going to give you a summary of everything that you've just put into your FAFSA application. You'll be able to see all of your demographic information, your school information that you're sending your FAFSA to, your dependency questions, your parental demographic information, parental financial information, student financial information, and then it'll let you know that you're going to sign and submit your application. So hit Next. This will bring you to the signature page. You can provide your student signature here by clicking that. It's going to ask you to read over this before proceeding. This is just talking about your agreement of terms, stating that you filled out the FAFSA to your best of your abilities. You'll say I agree and hit Next. You'll place your FSA ID, username, and password in here to sign the FAFSA, and then you'll hit Next. For demonstration purposes, I am going to submit it without a signature just so you can see. And then for parents, what we're going to do is we're going to choose another way to sign. So if they can't sign with an FSA ID, username, and password for some reason, the other options for signing and submitting the FAFSA are by signing with the FSA ID, printing a signature page, or submitting it without a signature. Submitting it without a signature will cause issues with processing of your FAFSA application, so this is highly discouraged. I would say if you have questions about this to reach out to your school, but you can print a signature page. If you choose to print a signature page, you'll hit Next, and you should be able to see the signature page by clicking here. This is going to show you all of the information here. Parent will sign it and you will mail it to the address listed here at the bottom. Once all of this is done, you're going to go ahead and you will submit the FAFSA application and it will be sent over to your school for their review. They will send you all of the information regarding your award letter after that. I hope this FAFSA walkthrough has been helpful. If you have any questions or concerns in regards to your FAFSA application, your dependency, or issues with submitting the application, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at Miami Regionals. We're happy to help you. The Regional One-Stop contact information is listed here. Thank you again for joining me today. Have a wonderful day.